Yes, I have to be one of those big dog collar things like that the whole time. So you can't catch the looks of it. What's that? I can't see it. Brilliant.
It's not a stage. Don't call it a stage.
It's not a stage. Walking. Well, I'm in the field. I'm in the field. Ha ha ha. No, I probably get adrenaline. I've got nerves, probably butterflies before I do a show. That's definitely, I do that. Certainly, I feel, you know, particularly the sort of buzz of a crowd. You hear the crowd out there, and I always go in whenever I do a gig. I always go and sit in the venue before the gig starts, and I go and sit in various different parts of the venue and just imagine myself as the audience watching the show, and trying to visualise what they might have done. You know, washed, put nice clothes on. Right, come on then, make me laugh. So I kind of get into the audience's head a little bit. And so
when you're on, do you remember that? Do you remember sitting out there and looking back?
I remember sitting. I see people in the audience, and I remember I sat there a few hours ago, and I know what you're seeing, and I try to direct it to all different parts of the crowd. So yeah, definitely, and particularly an announcement. Somebody goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, please," and you think there's no. It's like diving into a pool or something, or jumping off a bungee. There's no stopping it, and that I like it, and at the same time it gives you a sort of kind of a shiver.
Buzz.
Yeah.
What about the writing, Bill? Do you do it all on your own?
Yeah. Yes.
And are you strict? Are you disciplined about it, or how does it work?
Well, I try to be. I mean, you know yourself. It's hard to discipline yourself. It's almost you have to pretend you have a job, and you have to pretend that you go into work, and nod at imaginary workmates. Right. Nippy.
There's my sexual harasser. Yeah. There he is.
Get off.
There's my grumpy boss.
That's right. Let's go over to the water cooler, chat about TV last night. Oh, did you see? Yeah, good, wasn't it? Yeah, it's brilliant. Anyway,
shut up, all of you. I've got to get on.
Come on, I've got to get on with my jokes. And then, at the end of the day, nick a load of stationery from your own house. I suppose that's what I have to do. Is I try and when I'm in a period when I'm actually having to try and write something for a specific show, then I do try and. I mean, it gets quite compulsive. It gets into tense periods where I write all night. You're there sort of, and then something else, and then play a tune, and I usually find what happens is I'm surrounded by all kinds of things, books. I read loads, and while I'm writing a show, and I have bits of paper, and the keyboard's on, the headphones are on, the guitar's on, and I'm just whirling around between one, and you kind of, it's almost, you get to a critical mass of writing where you process thoughts a bit better.
Do you plunder stuff in your own life for your gigs?
I do. Things that happen to me, certainly, yes, and conversations I overhear and situations I've been in, certainly, yeah.
Does anyone ever mind? Does your missus mind, or...?
Well, up till now, they tend not to be very personal like that. They don't tend to be personal recollections or harrowing tales from, the cold face of relationships. They tend to be just more things of stuff I've observed or through travel or conversations over here, and those kind of things I do draw on, certainly. And I think that as a comic, I think you have quite a sensitive ear for those things, the absurdity of people's vocal tics, whatever, language, and I think those kind of things are very important. But I tend not to mine personal stuff. I think I always try and keep that private. I'm probably a pretty quite private person.
Yeah.
And I think there's plenty of people that talk about that, maybe, and very eloquently. And I don't know, maybe I don't trust myself to talk about it. I think, that would be something I would maybe come to eventually, maybe if I was writing a book or something, a very personal memoir or account. But for comedy purposes, I think there's centuries
That's
of
right.
human history
yes.
that I have to look
Don't
at
need
first.
to get to that yet.
I'll talk about Krakatoa erupting first, and, you know, the world's religions. And then I might talk about my childhood.
Yes, yes. Are you jealous of other good performers?
No, not at all. I love to see good performers. I love to hear about people doing well. You know, I just think that's all. It encourages me even more. You know, I actually think that, you know, I can't understand that. I think if someone does well, some part of that some of that goodness will spread out to everyone. There's always going to be someone who's more successful or who's done better or they've got this thing. So stop, you know, if you just don't worry about it, then it's never going to be an issue, I think. That's the thing, you know. And, you know, I was voted 7th most intelligent person on television by readers of Radio Times, you know. I'm not bitter about that.
Who were the other 6?
They're all really, really intelligent. Well, Stephen Fry, obviously, he was like number 1 by a mile. And then there was loads of Carol Vorderman, and then there was
Jimmy Grant,
Robert Winston. But scientists and people who are good at maths and really intelligent people. And then I was 7th.
Yeah,
and,
that's pretty good.
Which is pretty good. Although I was 8 was Lisa Simpson, who was a fictitious cartoon character. So glad about that. Be beaten by a fictitious cartoon. That'd be. How do you cope with that?
Do you think that you are expected to perform in ordinary social situations? Do you think it's expected of you to be a bit of a court jester?
Oh, yes, certainly, yes, in certain situations. I was on a plane once coming back from America, and I was sitting in coach, and the I suppose, what do you call them? Steward, what do they call them now?
Stewardess?
She came up to me and said, she goes, my friend says, if you make me laugh, I'll move you up to business class, like that. And I just sat there, and the look on my face must have, I don't know what I must have said, just like, God. And so I said, I'm afraid I have absolutely no intention of making you laugh. She laughed her head off. Yeah! Oh, what are you like? Come on.
Let's pull the curtain back.
And then it got worse, because I was in business class then, and then the other flight attendant, if you... I was thinking,
Get you up to first. you could have been flying the plane home. You should turn it round next time and actually just ask them, come here, if I make you laugh,
can I fly the
can I fly
plane?
the plane?
Can I land the plane?
Oh dear.
Comedy orchestra.